Hello everyone, this video is going to be me sharing with you why I think concrete is the best paver edge restraint that you can possibly use. One of the main reasons I use concrete is because when I install paver patios and walkways, I install them on what's called open grade base. Open grade base is a clean aggregate with all the fine particles removed, leaving you with just a clear stone like you see here. That's my base stone. It's 3/4 inch clean crushed stone, and on any typical application I will use 6 to 8 inches of that stone until we get up to our bedding layer. I use 1 inch to 1.5 inches of this 3/8 of an inch and less clean crushed stone. I will be explaining why I use this system in a minute here, but what I wanted to explain is that you cannot use plastic or steel edging with spikes because it is a loose aggregate and it will not hold on to the spikes strong enough. This is the concrete I use. It's just a regular 80-pound bag of concrete mix. Any comparable product from your local home improvement store will work just fine. And this is about the consistency that you want. But let me get into explaining why I use this open grade base system. And what this system is designed for is permeable systems, paver systems, meaning the joints of the paver patio stay open to accept water. This is the system that they use for that. But we use it even in our non-permeable applications just because it's a far greater system. And because of that, plastic edging with steel spikes just doesn't hold because it's a loose aggregate in the ground and there's nothing to hold on to. So plastic edging is pretty much out of the question for our installs. But even if we could do plastic edging, I would use concrete because I think it's far superior. The most important part about concreting the edge of pavers is to make sure that you have a very deep channel for your concrete to sit in. You need to excavate or create this channel deeper than your bedding stone. You want to go about 2 to 3 inches below the paver. But you also need that channel away. The center of the channel needs to be away from the paver so that you can slope the material. If you dig this straight up, you're going to undermine the bottom of these pavers and possibly cause the edge to fail and sink in. So you want to make sure you slope it away and create your channel like 3 or 4 inches away from the pavers so that the bulk of the concrete can sit in there. And then we're going to use the trowel to slope the concrete up to about 1 inch below the paver. Okay, so now that we have our trench dug, concrete filled in, we're just going to use a little 5-inch triangular trowel. I find is the best to be able to tuck it in nicely. Okay, so you can kind of understand the concept of this. The big point of making sure it's a good slope and not too far up the paver is that we're going to be trying to establish grass along the edge of the patio. And if you have a really big mound, or if you put concrete in it straight and you only give about 1 inch or 2 inches for soil to be there and to grow grass out of, what happens in the summer is the concrete gets too hot and then the soil gets too hot and the grass won't establish or it dies. So that slope is very important. You want it about 1 inch below the top of the pavers and sloped at a really good angle down so that the loam or the topsoil can kind of rest on the slope, and the roots of the grass will grow down at an angle and you will still be able to establish grass along the edge of the pavers as long as you do it correctly. That's a big reason why people don't like doing concrete, or they say that you shouldn't because it's hard to establish grass, but it's all in the technique. You have to make sure you do it correct, and you can definitely establish grass along the edge of the patio. this long edge pretty much done. This was 2 bags right here. Typically we find that 2 bags of concrete will get us about 20 to 25 feet. Just as a good idea of how much you're gonna need. Right up against the pavers, we're at about 1.25 inches of room for soil. If we go halfway out, we're at about 2 inches, and then if we go all the way out, we're down at our 3-inch mark. So as long as you use good topsoil, not like just regular loam, topsoil with compost in it, if you use that, it's plenty enough to establish grass, because the roots can grow sideways. And again, even if you're in a situation where you used concrete, or somebody did use concrete and they didn't do it the right way, and you can establish grass, I don't think that's reason enough to not use it. Plastic edging may allow you to grow grass, but it also allows the bedding stone or sand that you use, it allows it to wash out. And what happens a lot of times when you use plastic edging is the edges fail. They sink in because the bedding sand underneath them washed out underneath and through the plastic edging, and that's why you have to fix it. And when it washes out underneath the edging pops up, and the edging ends up being higher than the pavers. And like 90% of the installs that I've seen with plastic edging, that stuff happens. And I don't like to use it. I never have, and it's very expensive. Between the edging and the spikes, it's pretty expensive, time consuming, and it just doesn't hold the pavers or the bedding stone in close to as good as concrete does. What's going to happen is with that concrete, that 1-inch layer of stone underneath the pavers, the concrete goes about 2 inches below that. So all the bedding stone is getting held in by the concrete, and it's not allowing for washout. Especially once we backfill and we put our topsoil up against the pavers, there's nowhere for the bedding stone to go because the concrete holds it in. So it's far superior if you can't establish grass. Some other things you can do is put a little bed along the edge of your patio for plants, or just a stone apron, like a 12 to 18-inch stone apron around it, like a decorative stone apron. That will collect water and also solve your problem of not being able to establish grass up against it. So there's ways around that, but still, for the structural integrity of the paver patio, concrete is far better. Benny, do you agree?
What?
That concrete's better than plastic edging?
Oh yeah.
So Ben's gonna wrap around that edge now, get us to the corner of the house, and this whole patio area is locked in. Topsoil is dumped, Benny.
Yep.
Before we dumped that, we took a lot out of the back of the dump trailer until it just made more sense to dump it on the ground. So we got a bunch of piles ready, dumped and ready to spread out. I'm gonna start spreading. Okay, as you can see, this is a day later. The concrete has set and it's nice and hard. I have a composted topsoil. What that means is it's soil mixed with compost, and what that's going to do is add nutrients to the soil, but it's also going to help hold on to water. So when you go to do this and you really want to try to establish grass, buying the best topsoil you can get is going to help you with that. If you buy a topsoil that doesn't have compost in it, you're just kind of hurting your odds of grass being able to get established. But as I said before, I just want to recap. The reason we have to use concrete is because of open grade base, but the reason that I really use concrete is because I think it's the best thing out there. They do have aluminum edging for open grade base, but that's even more expensive than the plastic edging, so that's a no-go. So if you enjoyed this video and you're a new viewer, hit that like and subscribe for a lot of content, a lot of hardscape installations like this patio, those concrete split face block steps, the stone veneer with granite cap for the sill, and a lot of other projects that we've done in the past and to come. And make sure you comment on the video if you got any questions, thoughts, feedback, whatever it is. Give me a shout out, hit me up in the comments. All right, guys, till the next video. Peace.